When I subscribe. Welcome back, Relatable. My name is Justice.
My name is Anusha.
And we are relatable. You guys are relatable. Hopefully you can relate to something on the channel.
Today we're reacting to Nick Cannon having yet another baby.
So today we're going to go through the 7 rules that Nick Cannon has his many baby mamas adhere to.
You have 3 babies on the way. Is that true or false?
Well, yeah.
They're coming.
The stork is on the way.
And again, I'll just point out that this video came out like 4 months ago. He had his last baby before this video came out, and now he's just having another one. So this video is a little outdated, but again, I'm pretty sure the rules are still the same.
Does Nick Cannon plan to be the father of most American children by 2050? Despite the 9 kids, Nick is not done yet.
I don't have sex with anyone that I don't think
feel like you
that I need to be protected.
But what if a girl's like, we need a condom?
Then we need to step back and have a different kind of conversation.
Yeah, because why?
Because like I'm at a point in my life I don't want to have pointless sex, and that's usually probably why it ends up in children, because I'm not interacting, I'm not engaging with anybody that I don't really have a true love and like I want to build something with.
He warns us more.
It's polygamy. It's polygamy. The only reason it's legal is because he's not legally married to any of these women, but he engages in polygamy if he really thinks he truly loves all his baby mamas.
He's saying that he doesn't want to engage in like pointless sex, but I don't think he's thinking of the after effects of having these kids, you know? Obviously he has money, he can take care of the kids financially, but physically, he can't be there physically for all of the kids. That's just...
He doesn't want to have pointless sex, he's being a pointless father is what it is.
He's for lack of better words, he's to a certain extent like a deadbeat. Like I would consider him a deadbeat because he's having kids knowing damn well he's not going to be there, you know, physically for these kids. Financially, that's cool, but that's not being a father.
You cannot throw money at a kid.
I know you really hate that, like, you know, fathers not being there and fathers just feeling like they can make a check and then come home and just chill and not be actually present with raising the kids. And he's not even going to be like physically present, like not even in the house of all these kids.
Kids are on the way, and protected sex is not his thing.
All right, the streets say Nick no condom Cannon.
That's right. Is that what they said?
How many do you want?
I always used to joke around. I was like, I wanted the 12 is that the 12 tribes. Like I was really but I, you know, somewhere 10 to 12.
Many wonder how he balances things with the many mothers of his kids and how he manages to be in the life of these kids. It seems Nick has found a way. With all of these kids to juggle, Cannon makes sure his children's moms are on the same page when it comes to co-parenting. So, here are the 7 rules Nick Cannon's children's moms follow. Number 1, they must get along with him. When asked in a May 2020 interview if the mothers of his children get along with each other, Cannon replied, "They don't have to get along," but added that they all get along with me. Cannon has insisted that he maintains healthy relationships with all women, which may be the secret to successfully raising his children.
I think they should get along with him. I think that's a fair statement if they're going to be co-parents. Yeah, that's a given. Fair...
You know, if we had a kid and then we broke up, obviously we would want to get along, right? And be cordial with each other. That's just like common sense.
Right.
Number 2, they have to be respectful of each other. While Cannon doesn't force friendships between mothers, you also won't see women tearing each other apart for seeking some sort of position or place. This would be the last straw. Besides, having 8 children to take care of. Can you imagine also having to take care of the mothers? So they all know how to keep their boundaries and distance, whether in real life, in the press, or social media. In March, Bree TAC revealed that the moms keep things civilized and don't have any drama between them. So if it's true, it sure is a big relief for Nick.
I feel like everybody is focused on their own family and their own situation, and we're all, you know, very supportive and just respect that. That's your family, this is ours, and you need anything, we're here.
So all of these women are still single, right? They're not in a relationship with Nick other than they're his baby mamas. So they can still date their own men.
I'm assuming,
it's just they get child support from Nick Cannon, which is a percentage of his income. So I feel like it's a win-win situation if you just want kids and money. For the women, it's a win-win situation. But again, I feel sad for the kid more than anything, because obviously the women, you know, I don't feel sorry for the women. They know what they're getting themselves into, and like you said, they get a kid and they get, you know, a father who's going to take care of them and be there, you know, when he can. It's like you said, a win-win situation. And then they also get to find someone or date, like they're not, you know, right, they're not tied down to him, because if they were, then that's true polygamy. That would be real difficult.
Exactly. But again, I just think it's for the kid, it's kind of, you know, not really fair.
Yeah.
Number 3, don't expect him to commit. If there's one thing Nick Cannon's exes and the rest of the world know, it's that monogamy is not his thing. Although he was once married to Mariah Carey, the mother of his first 2 children, he has made it clear that settling down is no longer his priority, and in fact, it was never really in his nature. Nick has made it clear that he doesn't believe monogamy is healthy, as he feels that it falls into the space of selfishness and ownership. So for him, something like getting married will never happen.
I don't feel like monogamy is healthy. I feel like that gets into the space of selfishness and ownership.
That's an interesting take. I can't really say that, oh, what if the shoe was on the other foot and the woman wanted to be in multiple relationships? He doesn't want to be tied down, so he doesn't have that attachment to anyone to even feel like, you know, like, oh, yeah, well, I guess that makes sense. He doesn't care.
Right.
If he's not going to be tied down, he doesn't care if, you know, the women are in 10 different relationships.
Right.
So I can't even, like, play devil's advocate with this.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, he might like it because it's him and multiple women, but what if he was part of multiple men?
Exactly. Like, he doesn't care because he's not committed to one person. He doesn't want to be committed to one person. So he won't know or understand what that feels like.
But I think it's funny to him that marriage is less of a commitment than having a child with someone.
That's true.
Because that becomes real ownership and being locked down with someone. Like, you, both of you, you don't own this child. Both of you owe each other partnership and parenting to be with this child and to parent this child. And I feel like that's way more of a commitment than whatever he thinks.
Not even just the relationship with the women. Like, you have kids now. For the rest of your life, you have a commitment to these kids. You know, not just as a sperm donor, as a bank or ATM, but you have to be there. You have to be present.
Because maybe he just can't commit, period. Like, he'll have kids, fine, but maybe he doesn't even see that as a commitment to him.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to commit completely. He can be there when he wants. He found
these women that'll do everything for him as long as he pays the bills.
Exactly, and that's probably what he enjoys. Again, that commitment.
That's probably what he filters out when he said, "I don't sleep with anybody I don't see myself committing to." That's what he means. He means, is this a woman that will take care of everything should she get a child support check from me?
Number 4, don't badmouth him in media, something that sadly few celebrity couples can say. Can you imagine what it would be like if they all had issues with him at the same time? Now that would make their daily life very complicated. However, it is not the case. The partners of Cannon cannot stop singing his praises to the press. TSE has even publicly praised Cannon for his parenting skills, which undoubtedly saves him from bad public perception regarding his choice to have so many children with different women.
I'm assuming he probably has contracts written up too.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, so like
probably has NDAs with all of them about.
Besides Mariah Carey, because she make her own money. But yeah, if you badmouth him in the press, then he stops paying child support or something like that. You gotta have incentive.
Number 5, they must be supportive. Cannon has praised the mothers of his children for being there for him during his own difficult times, particularly during Zen's loss. He was especially complimentary of Zen's mother, Alyssa Scott, on how she dealt with her son's death.
If I'm not mistaken, but it was like where it was fluid that was building up in his head, and that was the cause of his head was starting to get big. Ultimately, if anybody knows how cancers work, it was cancer in the brain. I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had allowed the sun to rise and, you know, kind of hold my son. Having the last, holding my son for the last time.
Without a doubt, for Nick, this was one of the most difficult phases of his life.
Nick Cannon does have a autoimmune disease, which can be hereditary. Not saying that his kid had that by any means. His kid had cancer, so we can't necessarily blame him for spreading poor seed or anything. But I just think it's irresponsible of you to have this mentality that you want to spread your seed as much as possible when he may not have this experience, but if his kids have an autoimmune disease that can cause chronic pain, joint pain, etc., he doesn't go through that experience, so he doesn't know. But if they get that variety of an autoimmune disease because they're at higher risk for it, then he's putting his kids in pain.
That's a good point. And again, I don't think that we don't know his lifestyle and how well he gets along with the kids. Well, they just said that he gets along with the kids, and he's probably a great father. But that's beside the point. The point that I'm trying to make is, again, the kids won't be able to see their father every day. And again, it's become kind of normal, though. A lot of people, sad to say, like, he's a better father than a lot of people.
That's,
you know,
I hate that about fathers, because fathers in general
in America
in a 2-parent household get credit for just being there.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, you didn't leave the family. You must be a great father. A father changes a diaper once, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like you changed a diaper. Like, it's 50-50 to make a kid. It should be 50-50 responsibilities. So just because you change a diaper once doesn't mean you should get praised for that.
And I agree. But I think the reason why no one's batting an eye or no one's like getting on this case is because, number one, financially, you know, money speaks, and people are like, oh, well, he's taking care of it financially. That's better than a lot of people nowadays. Not a lot, but that's better than some fathers nowadays. And then he's actually making, you know, an effort to be there physically with these kids. Again, he can't be there physically. It's different families, like 7, 8 different families, and only one of him. So he can't be there physically all the time. But he's making an effort, so people see that and they're like, oh, well, again, in America, you know, I didn't grow up with my dad in the house, and other people who are watching this probably didn't grow up with a father in the house. So it's like, well, I wish I had a dad like Nick Cannon. That's what some people may say. Like, shit, he takes care of the bills and I see him from time to time. That's good enough. And again, it's unfair that it's like just good enough. That's all it takes to be like a good father.
Number 6, they have to adapt to his schedule. To cover those hefty child support checks, Cannon is a busy man. You may think he only has one job, but no, quite the contrary. Cannon is not only a comedian, he's also a film producer, actor, screenwriter, entrepreneur, and all-around radio and television person.
I feel like Cannon falls into the stereotype of a certain category of men that reach age 50, and they're so hell-bent on, I don't want to settle down, and then they're 50 and they're still single. And they have all these kids that they have to pay child support checks for, and I don't know if it's going to catch up to him after a while, that maybe he should have done things differently, but I work in a field where I see a lot of different people at different ages and how their mentality is, and I see the people that have settled down versus the people that aren't. And I'm just going to say the people that have not settled down continue to have this dog-like mentality where they will just try to hit and flirt on anything and anything that walks with legs. And I just have a feeling Nick Cannon is definitely one of those people. I don't know. It just, it gives me the ick. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think that, and I understand what you mean as well. People who don't really settle down until they're like 60, 70, you know, damn near on their deathbed. It doesn't catch up to them until they start slowing down in work. He's a busy man, so he's not even thinking like he doesn't have time really for a relationship and that commitment.
Right.
So once he starts, you know, maybe not doing as much, maybe he cuts down the jobs and, you know, has to stay with himself more.
Right.
And obviously with his family as well, but he'll start thinking like, oh, I wish I, you know, built that connection over time with someone.
Right.
Because he'll probably be able to, he's Nick Cannon, he'll probably be able to, even if he's 60, 70, to find someone, but it probably won't be someone who he can make a real connection with in the time that he has left on earth.
I don't know if I'll ever settle down, and it's not my place. I'm not a polygamist. I'm not coming from his perspective, so maybe, you know, I'm being a little too judgmental here.
I agree. I think right now he doesn't think that a relationship adds value to his life because he has all these other things going on. But I wonder what he thinks, like, why do you want kids? You know, like, what does having a kid bring to you besides paying an extra bill? And obviously you get to have a connection with them, but again, you're not there. So
I don't know if it's just the no condom mentality too. I think he tries to frame it nicely.
He can easily buy a plan B, so it's not that.
Personality. Contrary to popular belief, I'm probably engaged throughout my kid's day more often than the average adult can be, Nick said, making it clear that he has to juggle everything he needs to get his kids everything they need. If I'm not physically in the same city as my kids, I talk...
See, right there. He just said himself, he feels like he's there more than, not even just the average dad, but the average parent. Like, he's more present, and I don't think that you are, actually. Maybe, but that's the way, that's probably how he copes within him, probably how he feels comfortable with doing that, because he's like, shoot, I'm doing such a good job now. We'll see when they grow up and see if they have any resentment issues.
To them before they go to school via FaceTime and so on. He went on to say, and then when I'm in the same city, I'm involved in taking my kids to school, like making sure I pick them up as well. I'm involved in everything from coaching to having guitar lessons with my daughter every week. Our Cannon, despite everything, does his best to be an exemplary father. He does not just throw money at his kids and their moms. Moreover, Nick Cannon's child's mother, Bree TAC, recently revealed they go through his assistant to find time in his calendar if there is something important coming up.
He's great. Even, yesterday had a sensory class in the morning with some kids, and then has, the twins the next couple hours for the park. Like, he makes the schedule work. We all can go through the assistant to make sure it's on the calendar if there's something important. But anything you say you need from him, this man always shows up.
Number 7, moms should make sure all of Cannon's kids are close by. Cannon is often seen spending the vacations with his children and integrating them with each other, but their mothers also play a role in that effort, and arguably one of the most important. TSC has said she believes all children will be good friends as adults. Despite not being close to each other, all mothers make an effort so the kids can be a family and close to each other. It seems that Nick Cannon and all his babies' mamas have found strange ways to make it work for them and their kids. As long as everything is transparent and they are all happy, so who are we to judge?
That's a good point. It seems like it's working. And again,
maybe I was too judgmental.
I'm not saying I'm judgmental. I'm not judging him. I'm saying I don't think that he's taken into account the way that the kids will feel.
Like, what are these kids gonna do after 18? Like, is he gonna help all of them find jobs? I feel like at his wealth level, he's expected to at least fund some of their college, but that's like 12. He wants 12 kids, 12 college funds. He can. That's like when Michael Scott promises all those kids he's gonna.
Yo. I fell in love with these kids, and I didn't want to see them fall victim to the system. So I made them a promise. I told them that if they graduated from high school, I would pay for their college education. I've made some empty promises in my life, but hands down, that was the most generous.
I thought he was gonna be a millionaire or something.
No, actually, like, that's the scenario that comes into mind. Like, when they're all grown adults, like,
money isn't an issue. He has money for that. My thing is, again, the relationship. They're babies right now. I don't know how old the oldest one is, but they're probably not teenagers. It doesn't
cost a lot to fund them right now.
Yeah, they're babies. You can show up when you want, but what about when they're 12, 13? Going through puberty, having these super. And he's having these babies pretty close. So he's going to be dealing with like 12 different teenagers.
Right.
The baby mama's calling them up. Hey, the kid just ran away from home. Hey, the kid just did this. They're going to have, they're going to develop into humans and make decisions for themselves and stress the mom out. And now the mom's trying to get in contact with you. Right now it's easy going because they're babies. Oh, they need diapers. Oh, they just went to a little recital. Okay, but wait until they start getting older. At this point,
he's in the phase of providing them the necessities that they need. Yeah. They need care, time, food, shelter, fine. Yeah. But when it starts to get to a point where these babies develop personalities, when they need to have conversations with you, when they develop their own sense of personal belonging and that kind of phase where you resist parental advisory a little bit, I don't know. We'll see how he does it. Exactly. Seems like we're not in the place to judge because Nick Cannon says he's got it all under control.
I'm not judging. Again, we giving our opinion, and again, I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. Of course, I wish nothing but the best. But, well, I know there will be problems. There's problem in two-parent households when you got both parents there and just one or two kids. So having all of this seems like it's just going to be a lot. But again, we wish nothing but the best. That is all we have for today. Thank you guys again. My name is Justice.
My name is Anusha.
And we are in love. When I subscribe.